All right, folks, I'm just going to do a little bit of ranting here on a personal note. This isn't necessary for anybody to actually watch. The gym's pretty clear. Hopefully everybody's got some headphones in there so I can actually talk loud enough to talk over this oh so glorious music. Don't worry, I like the music, but it's just so loud. So I wanted to point out some faults in my training program. I just need to rant because I'm having a difficult time putting together an actual structured routine here. So if you follow Strength Camp at all, founder Elliot Halse, or my two programs that I've taken a lot from are Nadia Aguilar's Functional Patterns, which is kind of my foundation for physical bodily movements. Elliot's Strength Camp is more or less when it comes down to the meditative style, therapeutic mental exercises in a way, which become physical exercises. But I always liked his it's so loud. It's ridiculous. I can't even think, man. It's so stupid loud. It's ridiculous. My microphone's coming in a few days, so thankfully this video has nothing to do with anybody else. I'm just trying to rant here. But Elliot Halse's training program is pretty simple. He breaks it down into 4 parts, but we're just going to stick with 3. If you know it at all, it's very simple: structure, strength, and speed. Structure being what Nadia Aguilar Functional Patterns kind of goes deep into, which is the structural integrity of your body, postural integrity, right? The foundation. It is the foundation of movement patterns in and of itself. Structure is not only the foundation, but it's also, in my opinion, what everybody, more or less, a lot of people miss out on in their training program, and they go straight to the strength and or speed aspects of exercising. So strength just being lifting weights, moving weights, and speed also being incorporated into how fast or slow you move the weight. My focus has always been structure. I lack in developing a structured, consistent, and kind of a stable style routine. I'm a very mobile individual. I like to do things like dance and self-defense. A lot of people think that I'm like some sort of fighter in a way. I look like I'm fighting only because I think it's so sexist here. Because I'm a man, and it is who of me in my own brain to be strong and be a strong protector, not just of myself, but those around me. I do not need to live in fear. I do not want to live running away from difficulties and struggles in life. And if there are loved ones that are around me, I want to be able to protect. And if that involves defending, then I want to be able to be that person. But it's not necessarily my strong point. I am much more of a mobile. I'm very fluid, flaccid in a way. And I have good endurance, so I can last a long time. So if necessary, if I'm on my own, I have no problem running away from the bear that's in the woods, right? I ain't gonna put myself in that situation to where I gotta fight that shit, right? So going into structure, I want to point out a few concepts that I've been neglecting almost, only because it doesn't matter why. But I'm neglecting, and that is the That is the consistent, repetitive behavior of a given movement. This is what you often see in the gym most of the time. People will go into the gym and do what's known as volume style-based exercises. If you see my previous video on principles of training, you'll notice that volume is one of the very first, not want to say most important, but one of the most common concepts of exercise that most people do. Volume consists of your sets and reps. You will see repetitions being repetitions, right? I usually feel that the need to go into definitions because some people just aren't familiar. But the repetition is taking one movement pattern and doing it over and over and over again without stopping, right? So you have a bench press, you have a deadlift, you have any exercise. You take one exercise pattern of movement and you do it so many given times in a row. That's repetitions. You then stop that after so long, after your muscles are fatigued, and then you break for a number of seconds or minutes. Then you do, that's what's known as one set, right? And then after that, you do that same muscle pattern multiple times to do roughly what some people would consider the sweet spot of about 3 to 5 sets per movement pattern. This is just generic. This is very general. There's no actual right or wrong here. And I'm usually the one to break these common these common individual concepts. However, I'm realizing that they are technically still principles that we need to follow. I don't necessarily like doing the sets and reps because I'm not necessarily designed to do things repetitively. I don't like doing the same movement pattern over and over and over again. I like fluid motion. I like things like dance and self-defense. These movements are anything but repetitive in the sense that when you're in the cage, when you're in the octagon or you're on the dance floor, very rarely will you see someone do something that is now. I know there's going to be fight here because when people dance, let's say, there's obviously rhythm and there's obviously consistent movement patterns. Some people develop. Obviously, you can do a dance where you can see the same movement being done a number of times. This is where I actually fail because I have no rhythm. I have no, I kind of have no, I don't want to say no rhythm, like I can't keep a beat, right? That's rhythm. However, incorporating movement patterns with the rhythm in a continuous fashion, I'm realizing is just not my strong point. I hope that makes sense, the difference between rhythm or movement patterns and then building up on top of each other. So what I can do really well is dance to music. And I could keep a beat, right? I can actually dance or move to the rhythm of the music, but I won't have consistent, I won't be able to, I don't learn dance routines very well. I don't necessarily develop that. I wish I knew the proper terms. But I just realized it today because I'm trying to learn a dance. Trying to learn a specific dance right now. And practicing specific movements is just getting the best of me, is just getting the betterment of me. And it's the same thing in the gym. Like when I get down to doing actual exercises where I do need to start doing repetitions, I suck at it. Like I can only do like 4 or 5 good reps before I'm getting tired. And this is obvious. This is what's supposed to happen. Perhaps it's not the repetition that I'm bad at. Might it be the common concept? Hang on. So I'm still struggling with actually figuring out how to move past the endurance aspect of exercising and getting into muscle fatigue, hypertrophy, which involves repetition. And yeah, like I need to get into this. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Moving a little bit past that, I am trying to focus on. This is part of the problem as far as why I have not been able to develop my program, my workout program, because a proper workout program involves repetitive movement patterns with a given exercise, right? I may be able to move and flow and stay in shape, but actual growth takes consistent, repetitive behavior, actual muscle tearing. I'm not necessarily tearing my muscles when I get on the dance floor and do movement and do movement flow, even though it may look, kind of interesting or intricate, right? So, yeah, I think I'm just trying to figure out excuse me. I think I'm at the point where I am in need of the voice, of a voice telling me to keep on effing going, because after 4 or 5 reps, and it's I'm trying to judge it, because like I can do I can go on a machine, right, and do repetition after repetition, but it's not like difficult. And I'm talking about difficult movement patterns. I'm talking about like med ball slams, standing from the lunging position and doing like a med ball slam with a jump, right? So let me show you guys something real quick here. So if I am to set myself up, there we are. I'm gonna set myself up here. This is a 15-pound ball. 10. Hang on.
Whether or not he decides to show his face, he has returned. Big Booty Man is among us once again. That much we know. We can hear the screams of his enemies echo across the lands. We can see the markings of justice in his absolute dump truck all over town. We can witness his ambitious quest to restore peace around the entire globe. But he cannot act alone.
So when I'm talking about repetitions on a movement pattern that really sucks, here's an example. So we got the lunge here. You guys can barely see me, can't you? I've been focusing on the lunge pattern. Not going to go into it now. But here we go. I'm going to go here. That's 1 rep. Actually, that's 1 rep, because you also want to go in the center too. And it should be about here. That right there is kind of difficult. So we're going to go there. there, and there, there, which I'm already off center. You see how bad that is? I want to stay structured. I want to be actually in alignment. That was too bad. I should be here. And I'm already tired. And I'm tired in the wrong areas. So technically, that pattern of movement is that pattern of movement is technically for the glutes. If you were to do the lunge or the jumping lunge or the med ball slam properly, I should be feeling my glutes, right? More or less, most people won't be feeling their glutes, but feeling their quads, as I just did. But I only started feeling my quads after so much fatigue. This is ridiculous. So, I am fighting the urge to... We have company. Fighting the urge to stay in a structured, stable, repetitive, consistent flow in the gym. And I don't know, I feel like I've been saying it over and over again, but I just want a workout partner. I wish Jesus was here to just be like, come on, just do it. Almost like I need Shia LaBeouf here, right? Just fucking going at it and screaming in the ear. I've got music, but it's like, it can only take us so far. So, hats off to people that do the consistent repetitive exercises, and most people do when they come to the gym. People just get in and get out and do their thing. My version of structure involves a lot of warming up, but it's not repetitive movement patterns. My structure obviously involves when I put the bands on, when I put the vest on, when I use the mace, not the maces, but my heavy bar. I'll do dancing, I'll do, self-defense movement patterns, and that's anything but repetitive. It's tiring, but I mean, I already I've already been warming up for 2 hours here, and I feel fine. Like, I feel good now. But the second I get under a repetitive movement, y'all know. No, most of you don't know, but HIMYM is here to play. Barney Stinson, I must go move. I love that dance. I loved seeing them two dancing. That was great. Anyway, but yeah, lots to work on. More later. We'll chat more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts because we're about to do a 180. I'm pretty sure, no, I am sure, that the first quarter, more than likely, of this video was about me not knowing how to structure my routine with good reasoning, which we're about to go into right about now. But this half, which I will be breaking down over and over and over again in multitudes of videos in the future, is going to be the most important portion of our discussions, right? So if you actually lasted this long, thank you. Little disclaimer, I am trying to multitask. This is going to be a brief but distinct overview as far as common concepts, training principles, and what would you call I'm trying to think of the word that describes where most people have a belief about something. and everybody kind of follows that routine, right? So there's many concepts in the gym. There's many concepts when it comes to exercise and training. This is all fitness, by the way. This is all exercise. We're not going to get into diet. Don't worry. We're not even close, folks. Even though we are in the kitchen, right? This is kitchen. There are many concepts in the gym that keep people from becoming the quote-unquote strongest version of themselves, right? This is a series of beliefs that I have developed over many, many years. Over the past 12 to 15 years. So a little bit of background. Straight out of high school, I think I went to the gym around 19. So I was a little bit later in the consistency aspect, right? I was a very active individual, so it wasn't like going to the gym was the first time that I ever started getting active. I was very active. I was always outdoors. I'm a millennial, and I did choose to actually move when I was a child. But around 19, I got into the gym, and I became addicted, right? I was legit addicted. It was an ability for me to get away from my family and all the crap that I just didn't want to deal with outside in life and work and relationships. I built strong relationships in the gym, and I built a strong foundation with my body. Actually, let me take that back. From about 19 to about 23, I would educate myself. I had a little bit of classroom, right? It's a school help. I went through maybe a handful of semesters, maybe 2 years in the sports and exercise field before I realized that it just wasn't. It wasn't. I don't want to say accurate. I won't even put school down. I won't put school down. What I will do is I will say that I would say 99% of my education came after schooling. One concept, just to bust out one of the books that I have yet to fully understand. This one right here, folks. This is the quote unquote Holy Grail / Bible of fitness and exercise. Now, this has nothing to do with building muscle. How does that even work? What are you talking about? Get this, folks. My goal in the gym is not to build muscle. I could care less. About building muscle, folks. It is my new goal. It has been my goal for years. It has progressed from being a bodybuilder, which was my youth goal, right? When I was in my early 20s, I wanted nothing else but to build muscle and build size, get big, get jacked, and essentially look structured, look well-rounded, look proportioned. Little did I know, bodybuilding is just a piece. Now, if you are in the gym, I'm going to talk to more or less my fitness people. So this is going to be a video more so than not for the people that are exercise enthusiasts, people that are actually invested in training. I'm going to be breaking a lot of these common concepts that we that we all have. But mind you, I am not here to ridicule anybody's training routine. I'm not here to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. All right? It all comes down to your goals, plain and simple. It all comes down to what you want to do, how you want to perform, what you want to look like, right? And kind of in that order, at least for me. To me, I could care less what I look like. I really don't care. I do realize that what I look like carries over into how my body potentially could perform. That is a very, take that with a grain of salt. I've seen absolute jacked people lift very little weight, and I've seen fat people doing parkour, right? And doing all their somersaults and flips. Oh yes, folks, all ends of the spectrum. I'm not here to judge anyone's anything. Everything is possible, right? When it comes to the body, everything short of immortality is possible. So what I want to do is start out by saying, to make everybody who is the exercise enthusiast feel better or feel good about themselves, I will tell you that the absolute fastest, the best, the fastest, the easiest, it's not easy, the fastest way to build muscle, the fastest way to put on size is by doing the common reps and sets, 8 to 12, by, let's say, 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps, 3 to 5 sets, and roughly, let's say, overall, you could do anywhere from 20 to 40, given you do legs appropriately, sets for each individual muscle part. So if you know what I'm talking about, if you know exercise, you know what I'm saying. Each muscle part, you will think chest, back, shoulders. Some people do arms and then legs. That's it, right? If you want to build muscle, if you want to put on size, the best way to do it is by doing your 8 to 12 reps per set, 3 to 5 sets, about 20 to 40, depending on muscle group, per muscle group. 20 to 40 total sets overall in your workout per muscle group. That is so, that's the basics. That's a very general guideline. That is not, that is as general as saying, I don't want to say as saying, because my similes, metaphors are terrible. So I'll just make something terrible up. But the like average, when we talk about average in the realm of everyone, it's kind of a wishy-washy term, because the average, you shouldn't place the average on everyone, because, well, you've got people on this end of the spectrum and you got people on this end of the spectrum, right? This end of the spectrum and then this end of the spectrum. So the average, you don't want to use the average for everyone, because not everyone's average, right? So that's where a trainer comes in and does the whole tests, right? A proper personal trainer, I don't want to say doctor, because they've got way more on their hands than having to why can't I think of my words right now? Assess, right? You're assessing the client. Your physical therapists will assess your body. Usually people that have to rehab your body will assess one's body, so they figure out where the weak points are, right? And the reason why bodybuilding is such a high demanding or highly understandable form of training is because it's so simple, it's so basic, it's so easy. It's so easy. Too easy. Guys, I can bodybuild for freaking hours, right? You get sore. But gosh, there's just no energy depletion for me. If you know me at all, you know that I have some good levels of energy. I'll have an hour and a half of a warm-up, but that'll actually get me going, right? I'm trying to beat my food here, so work with me. Bodybuilding is a basic common concept that most exercise enthusiasts are used to. When you go to the gym, a lot of people talk and say, hey, what muscle group are you doing today? Hey, what are you working out today? What do you got going on today? People say, oh, I got back and chest, or I've got or I've got chest and tries, or I've got back and bis, or I've got legs, right? You can have any sort of combination, or usually it's just one big muscle and one small muscle. This is very wishy-washy. For all those that actually understand the body, that actually understand the reality of the body, work with me on my terms. I know I'm just kind of spitballing in the bro science. I'm talking about bro, this bro terms, right? So I don't like that. I don't like bodybuilding. I don't like doing one muscle group a day. I think it's just bland, vanilla. I don't care to get big. I don't care to have size. I actually don't want to get bigger. I enjoy things like rock climbing. I enjoy things like outdoor activities. I enjoy utilizing my body in a functional way, right? I like rollerblading. I like rock climbing. I like boats. I like kayaking. I like doing things that put my body in a position to where I am functionally adapting to my surroundings. I like climbing trees, folks, right? And that has how is doing a bench press going to get you to climb a tree better? It's just not. It's not. It's not going to carry over into actual life. So to break away, I don't want to break away because I'm going to talk about this bodybuilding concept for a while. I don't want to hate, like I said, but we're going to go into it and make it sound as if it's just kind of worthless. Isolation, that was the word that I was looking for before as well. A lot of, hang on, I forgot to add. A lot of the times, what you'll see, okay, that's hot. Yeah, I'm not really good at dual wielding, so I'm going to try and do my best here. A lot of the times what bodybuilders will say, or what most exercise enthusiasts will say, is that you need to isolate your muscles in order to get bigger. It's very true. It's very true, not arguing. But not everybody wants to get bigger. Not everybody wants to get jacked. Some people, aka athletes, people that actually have to use their body for a functional routine, something that requires them to move outside of the isolated movement patterns. And isolation just means that you're only working out in one plane of motion. One plane of motion means squat, bench press, pull-ups, dips. Now, I still do these exercises, mind you, right? I'm not saying I don't do bodybuilding exercises. I'm not saying I don't do isolation exercises. But it's at the very end of my workout routine. Because, it's it's kind of basic and boring. But it can be demanding on the actual muscle, the one muscle itself. Functionally, excuse me, but we gotta get some tuna up in this bitch. What's happening here? That fucker just stopped working. Uh-oh. That doesn't work very well. Oh, that's a bad can. Never mind. But essentially, hang on. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is break away from the concept of bodybuilding and isolated exercising. I don't think that it's necessary. I don't think that it carries over into daily activities, especially for, I'm going to get a little sexist here, especially for men when, I'll just say, especially for people that have a physically demanding job or lifestyle outside of the gym. If you have a lifestyle outside of the gym that incorporates or that requires you to move your body in a fashion that is not isolated, right? You've got I don't want to say like, yeah, I think of any physically demanding job, like roofing. Roofing involves you sometimes, more or less, if you don't have that equipment that allows you to hoist 70-pound shingles on top of the roof. What you've got to do is put them on one shoulder, which means you're already this way. If you're doing something on the outside of your gym, where you're carrying equipment on one side of your body, then guess what you need to do in the gym? You probably have to incorporate more training on the other side of your body to help balance your body out. Golly, I may have put a little bit too much bone broth in this one. But anyway, so my training program is derived around the concept that I don't want people to get injured. I don't want, I don't want people to get injured, and I do want people to be well-rounded, well-balanced, have a body that's actually balanced out, right? A lot of people say they have pain on one side of their body, like my low back hurts, my left side. I have pain on my right knee, my left elbow hurts. Why do you think it's only one side of your body? So, because in the gym, what are you doing? You're bench pressing with both your arms. You're dipping with both your arms. You're doing lat pull downs with both your arms. What could be the problem? Obviously, it's what you do on the outside. But if you go in the gym and do these exercises that involve you doing the same thing on both sides of your body, how do you expect to get out of the pain? So anyway, what I try to do is actually get people out of this pain, recorrect the posture, start from a place known as structural integration. What we want to do is find the imbalances in your body. I'm sorry. What we want to do is find the imbalances in your body and then fix those imbalances so that you become stronger. Believe it or not, but the Vitruvian Man is the perfect example. Vitruvian Man is, no, not Picasso. Da Vinci? Yeah, let's go with Da Vinci. Let's just go with Da Vinci. But it's a common concept that shows that there is a perfect body. There is an ideal form for your body. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to reach it. The point of the journey of life is to get to a well-rounded body. Let's see. So, let's do this. Let's turn this down. Put our veg back on. Oh yeah. We need those steamed. Oh my goodness. I so want to talk about diet right now. I'm starving. The point is to balance out the body. And we want to do that, finding imbalances, correcting the imbalances, so that you in turn have a stronger, more well-rounded body. You cannot do this. You cannot do this with bodybuilding training. You can't. All right. No, you can't. Not with the basics, not with like the most common exercises. Once you hit the muscles that actually matter, the deep muscles. A lot of people know about the rotator cuff muscles in the shoulder. See a lot of people doing these things and these things. Those are made for a reason. They're not just to warm your shoulder up. They're not just to get your shoulder warmed up. Those are exercises that once you get older and you have shoulder problems, your physical therapist is going to tell you to do those exercises so that you can build up the muscles that have been weak for so long. Right? You've got weak rotator cuff muscles. So not only should that be to warm up your muscles, but that should be a part of your exercise routine. Yeah, absolutely. You should be doing 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets. I'm going to tell you to do that stuff at home. Right? I'm going to tell you to go home, do the easy stuff. Go home, focus on your body when you're just standing around, when you're just doing whatever. When you're eating, why would you sit? All right, we're going off topic. Yeah, I'm not really throwing too much at you guys. Let's go a little bit deeper. So, functionality of the body incorporates you to do movement patterns that involve your entire body, or at least half of your body, right? You could probably separate. You shouldn't, but you can. The only isolation that you should be doing in functionality is separating your upper from your lower. That's as far as you can go. Quite honestly, I don't find it too helpful because more so than not, you're going to be moving your entire body on the outside. Aside from literally sitting at the desk and doing your computer work. I'm trying to stick to those individuals that have a physically demanding job, that feel pain in their joints and their low back, and their hips and their knees and their elbows and their shoulders, and have these problems, and then just go into the gym. And what happens when you do bodybuilding is you slap on big muscle on top of your injury. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not the worst thing, right? The worst thing is not to exercise. But what you're doing when you're doing something like bodybuilding is you're putting on what I like to call armor in the form of muscle. You're putting on armor, big armor, right? Big muscles, big armor, on top of injury, right? All you're doing is putting a Band-Aid that actually, no, it doesn't heal. All you're doing is putting on more Band-Aids on a wound that's bleeding. There you go. What you're doing is putting on Band-Aids to try and stop a bleeding wound. Now, you can add Band-Aids, or you can take off the Band-Aid and throw Epsom salt on it, right? Dry out the wound. You can even open up the Band-Aid and let the wound heal. Let the air get to it so it dries out. Terrible metaphor, right? I know. I'm not that great, like I said. But what functional movement patterns do for the body is realigns the actual body. This is where things like planks, med ball slams, and all these sled drags, sled pulls. People look at me like I'm nuts for doing sled drags and sled pulls in the gym. Sled pulls, right? How are you going to drag your brethren out of the war zone once his leg gets blown off? Oh, that's not going to happen. How are we doing in America right now? Anyway, so my job is to make sure that the body is as functional and able to adapt to the surroundings around me. So So if I feel like the world, or if I feel, let's at least give Earth, let's give America the benefit of the doubt that things aren't going nuts, right? I kind of have a negative perspective on this, but let's give us the benefit of the doubt that things are okay. Why is it so hot in here? I guess it is kind of warm outside. I'm going to open up a door real quick. What I'm hoping to do is get people, hang on, to adapt their body to the surroundings via their job so that they don't feel pain in their body from working, right? The gym should build you up, not put you in pain. So yes, movement patterns, these twistings, our lunges, the thing is, here's the problem. This is the book we should be learning in school. All right, this is what we should be teaching our kids from the get-go. What this is are a number of movement patterns. If you look closely at the body here, you'll see that there are colors. You'll see that there are colors all throughout the human body. And they'll go from head all the way down to their toes, right? That means that these muscles are all connected, right? They're movement patterns. Your body flows in movement patterns. You look at any athlete on the planet, nobody is doing, aside from your Olympics who are Olympians who are in the seated position, aka wheelchairs. All sports involve your body to do multi-dimensional movement patterns. Now, sadly, I have to stay surface level with this because I still don't know the names. And this is what we're going to get into later on in other videos. I don't know the names of these movement patterns. What I do know are some of the particular movement patterns. Think of things like kettlebells. When you do kettlebell swings, what muscle are you working out, right? Oh, I'm doing my shoulders. All right, what happens when you do this? What happens when you squat and you go all the way up? You're squatting, you're hinging at the waist, you're moving your shoulders not just laterally, not just here in the frontal plane, but you're going all the way up and all the way down. There are a number of movement patterns. We're going to get into this later. Oops, I am totally lost on my food right now. So yeah, I think we're gonna just pause there. I'm kind of just ranting, but what I want to do, I'm glad I didn't really hate on the bodybuilding concept like I thought I would, but I really just don't like the concept. I am so fudged. Oh, that food is gonna be so terrible. I completely forgot. I'm gonna distracting. You guys are getting me. So, essentially, boy, this looks so good. This is probably 70, 60. I want to say 60 grams of protein, maybe 70. I have a can of tuna, that's 20. 2 eggs, that's 15. And then about 30 to 40, 35 in chicken. 35, 45, 55, 60, yeah. So 70 grams of protein, make it 45 that'll actually get bioactively available, to say a mouthful, actually get turned into muscle, or actually get what's the problem? Right? It'll be utilized. Right? A lot of people think that all the protein gets utilized. That's in a perfect body. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All veg, babe. This is good. Very good. So anyway, that's going to be about it. We're going to stop there. 50 minutes, not too bad. So we're going to go into these movement patterns later. This is just a rant. I hope nobody actually had to worry about watching this stuff. Anyway, thank you for following. Thank you for watching. Movement patterns later on. And yeah. God bless. Live expressively. Lift expressively. Not just with these isolated movement patterns. How are you supposed to express your lifting if all you're doing is... So boring, guys. So boring. Lift expressively, folks.